Continuing from the last lesson, let's take a look at a different and more complex campaign. For the music workshops that the Young Americans did, the workshops, they'd run in a town for 3 days before packing up and moving on to another city. So we had some pretty complex campaigns that we had to repeat in all of those cities across a 3-month tour. Now, I won't get into every detail, but those campaigns ran across 3 platforms: Facebook, which includes Instagram, YouTube, which includes Google Ads, and then Snapchat. We had 2 defined audiences that we wanted to reach: kids and their moms. So let's talk first about the moms. Now, I started advertising to all parents who had kids from age 8 to 18, which is the age for our workshops, but then I started looking at the data and only the women were clicking through from the ads. And now, by noticing that in the Facebook reports, I was then able to effectively double our reach with the audience that our ads were working on, the moms, just by eliminating men. As a dad, that was super weird. I respond to opportunities for our kids, but clearly I'm in the minority, and the Facebook data backs that up. Now, it can seem counterintuitive. I want to advertise to everyone, but you also need to look at the return on your advertising investment. The point of advertising isn't to reach everyone. It's to reach the people that are most likely to interact with you, because those are the people who are going to support your cause. The more you can identify that audience, well, then the better your results are going to be. So in some bigger cities where the audience was even too large for our advertising budget to really have much impact, I'd have to start narrowing down those moms even more, and I primarily made it moms interested in music or theater, because those were the moms most likely to send their kids to our musical theater workshops, because they understand the value of it. But then in many cities, they were small enough that any targeting beyond the very basic criteria of mom would mean our ads would hardly get seen by anyone. Sometimes they'd be too small for Facebook to even let us buy the ads. Occasionally, we even had to add the dads back in. Our YouTube ads then were also primarily focused on the moms, because YouTube doesn't have the tools to advertise directly to kids the way that Facebook and Snapchat do. So we targeted the moms there too. We looked at Facebook as the primary tool, and then YouTube was a support. By the way, why multiple platforms? If people are seeing us on Facebook, why would you also advertise on YouTube? Because there are things competing for your attention everywhere. Our advertising only really started to work when we started advertising on multiple platforms, as well as we had a ground campaign in each town that included news articles, morning announcements, posters, take-home flyers for the kids. If you want to reach audiences nowadays, you have to catch them in multiple spaces for them to notice you. But once they start seeing, hey, there's a poster, and then you're on their Facebook wall, on YouTube, and in their kid's backpack, well, then you can start to cut through the static and they might pay attention. Or conversely, they may only see you in one of those places, but you want to be everywhere that they might notice. So back to Facebook. For the kids, we had 3 primary campaigns. Facebook and Instagram, they only let you target your advertisements to people aged 13 and up. So our kids' campaigns were for ages 13 to 18. Then we divided those kids into 3 categories with 3 separate campaigns: kids in general, kids interested in the performing arts, and kids interested in cheer and athletics. We had very different ads for each group, with the general kids seeing the fun and participant bonding elements. The performing arts kids would see the song and dance training, and then the cheer and athletic kids would see the challenge and the team building side. The other major ads for kids were on Snapchat, and those ads were where we really started to see the needle move for all of our ads. Again, we targeted kids 13 to 18, and Snapchat, they only allow 10-second video ads, so we had to make new ones that we called This Could Be You ads that would show kids in the spotlight on stage from some of our shows. They got some great engagement and seemed to really work. The biggest lesson I learned while building these campaigns was that there was no one answer. Again, floundering around was kind of necessary for us to find the campaigns that worked for our customers to find us. Learn from your campaigns. Facebook and Google give you a ton of data super fast about your campaigns, of who's watching, who's not, when, and how often. Use that data to figure out what's working and do more of that. And then what isn't working, well, refine or get rid of it. Everything you need is there. You just have to start and be willing to dig in and learn what the data is telling you. Your organization does good work, and your audience is there, and they want to know about you. And now, one of the things that helped us is that all the platforms push your ads out. They put them based on a series of factors, including just if your audience actually likes the ad and watches it or clicks it. We did very well in that category, which helps the ad to get shown more often and brings the price down at the same time. And our targeting helped us make sure that the ads got in front of the right people. So let's go back to the main ideas here. Social media posting, whether it's just on your page or through advertising, isn't just about getting your content out there. It's about making content that your audience wants to see and hopefully engages with. Story is the best way to make that happen. Give people a story with a character they're interested in, a problem they want to overcome, and a resolution, and they'll stay. They'll watch. My most successful content was where I found the best mix of character, problem, and how the organization helped them overcome. It's a simple formula that has an infinite amount of possible iterations. It can be amazingly frustrating to create and amazingly rewarding when you persevere and make something that people want to see and are moved by. That's it. That's the end of these lessons. One of the terrible things about storytelling is that there's always more to learn. There's more to figure out, and you're never done. But that's also the great thing about storytelling, that there's always more to learn and more to figure out. You're never done. So while this is the end of these lessons, you can always be expanding your knowledge just by making more stories and by living in the world and watching what happens around you. Storytelling is really just taking those experiences and sharing them in a way that the audience can feel it themselves. So thank you so much for sticking through the many of these lessons. And even if you're not yet a master video creator, hopefully these lessons have helped you figure out some of the things that you can do for your organization. Please reach out. Let me know what you're creating. I love nonprofits and what they do for the world, and I love hearing about them. Best of luck to you and the important work that you do. And just for one last time, you can do this.